Hi students, I'm going to show you some of the features of maps and globes that we've been talking about on this globe right here. We've talked about how in some situations it's better to use a map and in other situations it's better to use a globe. A globe is really good for in the classroom because it shows us the exact position and size of any land masses. It's not going to be distorted like maps will be. It also allows us to feel the texture of any mountain chains in the world. So right here I can feel that the Himalayas are located right here because they've actually given this globe texture. We can also demonstrate how the Earth turns and how the Earth is at a tilt. You'll notice the globe isn't straight up and down, it's at a tilt, just like the real Earth is. So this is a much closer representation of what the Earth is actually like. You'll notice on this map, on this globe rather, we have a legend. You might also hear it called a key. And so this legend shows us the different symbols that we can find on this map. For example, this hexagon shows us where the world's largest cities are. So there's a hexagon right here on New York, and so I know that New York is one of the world's largest cities. Another symbol we have, a triangle. Triangles are usually mountains on maps. This one says a triangle on this globe means highest peak on continent. So if I go look for Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest peak in Africa, I'm going to find it has a little triangle next to it, and that shows me that's the highest peak in Africa. All right, let's say I see a symbol on the map and I don't know what it means. It's the city of Colombo in Sri Lanka. It has a star. What does a star mean? I can go to the legend, find the star, and read the label. It says country capital. So now I know that Colombo is the capital of Sri Lanka. Another thing that we have on this globe is a compass rose. It shows us that north is up, south is down, west is to the left, and east is to the right. Most of the time, maps are going to have north up and be made in this orientation, but sometimes it's not, and that's why we need the compass rose to make sure. You'll notice on this globe, there are lines going up and down and lines going side to side. These are the lines of longitude, which go up and down, and the lines of latitude, which go side to side. They form something called a grid, which we saw in that storybook we read. And we can use a grid to help us find places on the map. This particular grid that everyone uses to describe places on the Earth has something called an equator. This is the line of latitude that goes around the Earth. The next two lines of latitude are called the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. And these mark a portion of the Earth or a region of the Earth that we call the tropics. The tropics are an area of Earth where they don't have a lot of seasonal change. They're always getting direct light from the sun. And so it's warm all year round in the tropics. They might have a rainy season and a dry season, but they don't have 4 seasons like we do in the US. There is one tropical part of the US, or almost tropical part, and that is Hawaii. In Hawaii, they don't have winter, spring, summer, fall like we do. It's pretty much warm and lovely all year round. All right, so we saw the equator. There's also something called the prime meridian. I'll show you here. It's a line that goes up and down. It's a line of longitude right through London. And this is kind of the vertical equivalent of the equator. This is our 0 degrees line. Degrees are what we use to mark each line of longitude and latitude. So let me show you an example of how we can find something using this grid, using longitude and latitude. I want to find a group of islands called the Azores. And I know that these islands are located at about 45 degrees north of the equator and 30 degrees west of the prime meridian, which, as I said, is the vertical line that goes through London. All right, so first I need to go to the equator and I want to go 45 degrees north. And you can see that the degrees are labeled here on the globe. So 45 degrees north, I'll go up, up, up till I hit 45 degrees. Okay, then I'm going to go over to the prime meridian. I'm at 45 degrees north, and I said that the islands are going to be at 30 degrees west as well. So I'm going to head west of the prime meridian. Here is 15 degrees west and 30 degrees west. And look, there are the islands, the Azores. So that's how we use latitude and longitude to find a location. And we're going to talk about something called absolute location and relative location later. But absolute location can often be found, or is often described using latitude and longitude, because that tells you exactly where on Earth something is. You'll often see latitude and longitude that'll say 35.33125, and that'll tell you exactly precisely where a location on Earth is, and that's absolute location. All right, the last thing I would like to point out to you here is the scale. The scale shows the relationship between the size of a globe or map and the size of the actual Earth. So here, it shows me about 1 inch on the globe, and it says 1 inch is 500 miles. So if I wanted to find the distance, for instance, between Lima, the capital of Peru, and Brasilia, the capital of Brazil, I could measure it. Let's say I measured it with my ruler, and it was about 3 inches or so. I'd go and say, okay, if 1 inch is 500 miles, and the distance between Lima and Brasilia is 3 inches, that means I need to multiply 500 by 3 to get 1,500 miles. And bada bing, bada boom, we're doing math and geography class. Gotcha. But we are going to do math and geography class because geography is a social science and we use math to figure stuff out in geography. All right, so that's everything I wanted to show you. As always, if you have any questions, let me know.